Welcome back to HomeStar Inspections. My name's Toby. We're here on a pre-purchase inspection, brand new property here in South Florida. So there's typically some limitations that the builders put on us home inspectors. They don't want us on the roof, which is fine because I use a drone and infrared camera on the inside. You're pretty much going to see everything you need to see with the drone. They don't like us to open the electrical panels, which doesn't really make sense because we're licensed to, and I have found electrical issues in these panels. So if the possibility presents itself, I might open up the electrical panel. If not, then the buyer will have to call me back out after closing just to verify that all the electrical breakers are properly sized for the wires, no double tapping, all that good stuff. Some other limitations they put on us is they don't want us in the attic and walking on the trusses. They don't want us to disturb the attic installation, which is always a good idea no matter what the situation is. But they also do not want us to fall through the ceiling, which is completely understandable. The time to review the trusses is actually during the pre-drywall phase, not once the insulation is blown in there, because you're seeing at best maybe 50% of the trusses are exposed. The rest are buried in the insulation. So you really need to get the trusses inspected pre-drywall. Don't expect your home inspectors to go traipsing through the attic. Number one, they don't know the condition or where the trusses are if they're buried under blown insulation. And number two, you're disrupting the insulation, which is an R value issue. So those are the common limitations for a new purchase inspection. Let's see what we got. All right, so here we are performing a roof inspection on a pre-purchase inspection. They don't want us on the roof, so gotta break out the handy dandy drone. Let's take a look.
Takeoff. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So what I like to do is start out here, get a good nice cover page photo for the client. Then I'll come up over the property. You get a nice aerial shot of the whole roof. Then come back down and start looking for broken or loose tiles. And where there's any gutters, I also like to make sure that the upper gutters right there on this upper part over the front door is properly channeled to the bottom gutter, diverted, but it's not. You see that little notch, that triangle they cut right there at the tip? That's dumping on the roof below it, and that roof also has a valley down there. Valleys by themselves are actually prone for leaking because that's where a majority of water collects, and roofs will typically start failing in that area. You're also pouring water from the upper roof into that area as well, and so I don't know why this is not against code yet, but if you look on the other side too, right about there. So it's actually stuck in the shadow, but there's another triangle on that side. Don't know why, but builders continuously, well, we know why, right? They're trying to save money, but it causes the homeowner problems down the road, and it's a simple fix. So it's pretty much a staple recommendation on all brand new construction. Those upper gutters need to be diverted directly to the lower gutter and not poured onto the roof below it, because the roof below it has its own water it needs to manage. So from there, I just start scanning the roof like this, taking pictures of every, like that would be one photo right there. Scroll over, take another photo. You see that yellow, that dark line right there? I'll zoom in to make sure it's not a crack. Not a crack. Also review the roof penetrations, make sure they look to be in good condition, not missing any parts. And that's pretty much it. I'll just go ahead and scan the roof this way, take a bunch of photos, anywhere from 75 to 100 photos, and then sit at the computer afterwards and zoom in even further to make sure that I didn't overlook anything. Even though this controller is pretty detailed, nothing beats a computer screen. And that's pretty much it. So roof inspection's already done. I've already taken photos. So let's go ahead and see what the rest of the property has to offer. Okay, so here we are on the outside. Did the roof already, front elevation. Windowsills we'll be checking, make sure that they are properly sloped away from the house and that it's properly caulked. So far so good on that. The main water is right here. The gas is turned off though. You can see the lock on it right here. So any appliance that utilizes that gas will not be tested. The condenser unit is strapped down because here in Florida we get those high winds, also known as hurricanes, that will turn your condenser into a tumbleweed. So they should be mounted to what's called a hurricane slab right there. You can check for leveling there too. It should be pretty level, but it doesn't look like it. All right, and then main panel here, 200 amp service, 30 amp breaker, matches the 30 amp max allowed from the carrier unit. Other than that, the grading looks pretty good. It looks like it's sloping away from the property, which is always a bonus. Normal issues, we want these extensions to be further away from the wall. And yeah. All right, so we're here up in the attic. The builders don't like us getting in the attic, so I'm staying on my ladder, not touching the trusses or anything else. The blown insulation as well. You don't want to disturb that. Technically speaking, you need to get those trusses inspected in the pre-drywall inspection. Because if you try to get it inspected now, not only are you risking damaging the insulation because you're going to traipse right through it, but you're going to step in areas where you can't see the truss. You're trusting the truss is there, and you're trusting the truss isn't damaged, and that's too many trusses, right? So I don't ever get in there. You try to look as far as you can, but it's too dangerous, and you can't see at least 30% of the trusses anyways, because it's all covered with the insulation. You can see the top cords, maybe the web trusses, and that's about it. The bottom cords are all buried in the blown insulation. So it's a limited review at best, and you're going to definitely damage the insulation every time you go through it, in the off chance you might find something, when the real situation is they should have gotten a pre-drywall truss inspection. All right, so what did I find here? We got the dryer vent coming up through here. It is coming through the insulation. May or may not be okay. I'm going to look up building code, make sure that's kosher. You do have the gas water heater vent or flue or chimney getting buried right in there in the insulation as well. So I'm going to look up both of those, make sure those are good to go, and I'll follow up with you on that one as well. Other than that, just take some information on the strapping, the nail spacing, the plywood thickness, all for the wind mitigation. That's an insurance report that we have to do here in Florida that helps give the buyer some discounts on the insurance premiums. Everyone knows the insurance in Florida is a little chaotic, so you want to try to save where you can. And getting the information from the trusses, how these trusses are strapped down to the exterior bond beam, is one of the questions on the wind mitigation. So I've collected that information. Got the information of the nail spacing, the nail length, the plywood thickness, all that good stuff. Can't see anything else up here. Let's keep on looking.